Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl in your face while you're sleeping. 15 Santa Claus sightings that will shock you. Hello and welcome back to MindRead, the go-to channel for top 10 videos and sometimes more. If you'd like to see more of our videos, don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell to be notified when we post a new video. It's like having VIP access to all of our content and being one of the first to see when we post a new video. Okay, so on to our topic for today's video. We all know the myth about Santa Claus, but is he really a myth? As you watch this video, you may be less convinced than you are now. Today, we are sharing 15 Santa Claus sightings that will shock you. These sightings have been categorized as paranormal, ranking with the Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot, ghosts, and chupacabras. Tell us what you think in the comment section down below. Santa sighting number 15, Green Bay sighting. About.com's paranormal expert Stephen Wagner has created a log of Santa Claus sightings over the years. He lists this one as one of the best he has experienced. He was walking to the bathroom, forgetting what night it was. Then suddenly he came face to face with Santa and saw stockings floating in the middle of the hall. When he saw them, they dropped to the floor, and that's all he remembers as he fell asleep in the hall. He had this to say: "To all you doubters, Santa does exist, not just in your heart, but physically." Santa sighting number 14, 19-year-old believer. Wagner compiled other stories, including a 19-year-old's tale. As he peered over the railing in the loft of his house, he saw what he believed to be Santa Claus. He quickly went into his parents' bedroom to see them sleeping soundly. After this encounter, he says he still believes. Santa sighting number 13, dumpster Santa. This sighting is recounted by a 37-year-old who was walking in her parking lot and throwing trash in the dumpster. Then, suddenly, on the sidewalk next to him was a chubby old man with long snow-white hair and a long beard just like Santa, who bore an uncanny resemblance to St. Nick. The old man said, "Hello, Richard," as he passed him up. It wasn't until a few seconds later that he recognized that he didn't know the man. How did the man know his birth name? He wasn't wearing a name tag or anything. He watched the old man as he continued down the street, and as the man came to an intersection, he didn't stop. The light simply changed and kept walking. This certainly was weird, to say the least. Santa sighting number 12, on the plains of Africa. On Christmas Eve, Santa takes a trip to Africa to visit the homes of children in Serengeti. In this picture, a snapshot of Santa has been captured alongside some of the native wildlife with a backdrop of a stunning sunset. Santa sighting number 11, Moonlit snapshot. This is a fun place for Santa and his reindeer to fly through, as you can often expect a white Christmas in Canada, especially Quebec. This video captures Santa flying through the snow-covered Canadian town with the full moon in the background, creating an amazing view as it lights up the town. It is usually a pretty chill leg of Santa's trip, so the children of Quebec set out not cookies but hot chocolate. We're sure he appreciates the gesture. Santa sighting number 10, Yosemite National Park. In this video, we see Santa fly over the scenic Yosemite National Park. The second waterfall you see in the video is Yosemite Falls, which consists of two waterfalls that fall from a height of 2,245 feet. That's as tall as the Sears Tower and the Eiffel Tower stacked up on top of each other. Talk about high. Can you see the falls as Santa flies by? Let us know in the comment section down below. Santa sighting number 9, boat trip Santa. 10-year-old Johnny Bluefin was on a boat with his daddy when another boat came up next to them. He claims that the man behind the wheel was jolly with rosy cheeks, a white beard, a red tank top and shorts. The child said he even had on a trucker's cap with a pom-pom on top just like a Santa hat. When he took off his glasses, his eye had a twinkle in it like old St. Nick. Santa sighting number 8, sneaky 7-year-old. In her home in Berlin, Germany, 7-year-old Bettina Schneider was supposed to be in bed asleep, but apparently had woken up when she heard a clatter on the roof. Bettina became very excited as she knew it had to be Santa's reindeer. She got up and ran down the stairs, and there he was in his full red snowsuit and hat. A little snow from his shoulders fell off and sprinkled the presents as he placed them under the tree. Bettina ran to her parents' room to wake them up to prove to them that he was real, but by the time they returned to the Christmas tree, he was gone. Santa sighting number 7, sweet big brother. This next story really melts my heart. At 12 years of age, Oliver was too old to believe in Santa. Since it's hot in Australia around Christmas time, Oliver's family decided to take a camping trip. Oliver's little brother Sam was sure Santa would not be able to find them. Not wanting Sam to be disappointed, Oliver bought a football with his own money, wrapped it, and planned to put it next to Sam in their tent. He would sign it "From Santa." However, when Oliver went to place the football next to his brother, Santa was exiting the tent. They stared at each other for a moment before Santa chuckled and hopped into his sleigh, which was parked not far away. When Oliver looked inside the tent, Sam had a wrapped present from Santa lying next to him. Santa sighting number 6. Scared kid. In Bristol, England, back in the year 2000, young Alex was the only one awake at midnight because he was really excited. He heard big footsteps in his living room and bells tinkling above him. Quite scared, he decided to go see what was going on. He walked down the stairs very slowly and could see a big man putting presents around his living room. He wanted to say something, but it was too scary to do it because he thought Santa would be angry, so he ran back to his room and went back to sleep. He was so convinced that he had seen the real Santa that he tried to tell everybody about it in the morning, but none of them believed him. Santa sighting number 5. White Santa. Back in 1969, 3-year-old Joanne, who was still young enough to wear footed pajamas, little Joanne wanted to see what Santa had brought her, so she quietly walked down the hallway and around the corner into the living room. She saw her parents and someone she didn't know hanging around her Christmas tree. The stranger was an older gentleman with a white beard and a red pantsuit. She went back to her room as quickly as she could, in footed pajamas, and slid back into her bed. She told her mother about it years later, but her mother insisted that it was her dad sitting next to her. But this wasn't possible, as her dad was sitting in a chair behind the stranger, and her mother was standing right next to her dad. Not to mention that Joanne and all the tenants of the building at that time were African American, so Santa stood out. Santa sighting number 4. Dell's Coincidence. On Christmas Eve 1973, young Dell and his parents were in their car on their way home very late at night. The whole ride they had been talking about Santa Claus and how great it would be if he really existed. As they pulled into the driveway of their house, there he was, tiptoeing in the snow in between 2 houses across the street. They all laughed when they saw this and remembered the incident for many Christmases thereafter. Also, no robberies were reported, so Dell is convinced that this was the real Santa. Santa sighting number 3. Bright Light. When Jade, who is 13 now, was 7 years old, she saw what she believed to be Santa. It was about midnight on Christmas Eve, and she was in bed but not asleep. All of a sudden, she saw a red light beaming down into her bedroom window. It was so bright that she was sure that it was Santa. She looked up into the sky, but all she could see was the red light coming from a small object in the sky. She didn't hear a helicopter, but what she did hear was the sound of bells, and also the sound of hooves tapping on the roof. These sounds lasted a few seconds after the light disappeared, and then they were all gone. Alright, the time has come for the picture of the week, sent in by one of our subscribers. Here we see Santa flying his sleigh in the sky. Santa sighting number 2. Carrie's Visitor. On Christmas Eve of 1961, Carrie went to bed, but was awoken in the middle of the night by her door slowly creaking open to allow the light from the nightlight in the hall to trickle in to illuminate quite a bizarre sight indeed. She was astonished to see a man dressed in a red suit, with white trim like fur around his waist and a long white beard. And of course, he was wearing his signature hat. He stood there and looked at her for a few seconds, then closed the door. Scared out of her wits, she pulled the covers up over her head for a while. Finally, she looked out from under the blanket and no one was there. The next day, she asked her mother if she or her father had been out of bed the previous night, and her mother said that neither of them had gotten up. Her sister was only 4 months old, and that was the first night that she had slept through the night. Santa sighting number 1. Glowing Santa. Sarah A. says her sighting happened when she was very, very young, but has stayed with her into adulthood. On this evening, Sarah had been sleeping on the floor as her aunt had been visiting and took her bed. Because of this, she was unable to really get into a deep sleep, and at around 2:30 a.m. she noticed a faint glow coming in from a crack under her door. She got up, walked over to the door, and opened it. She couldn't believe what she saw when she fully opened her eyes. Santa was standing in her doorway with a mystical, magical glow about him. He looked right at her without moving his mouth, saying, "Now, don't you know you're supposed to be asleep while I'm here, don't you?" Sarah said she knew that she was supposed to be asleep, but how could she? He told her to close her eyes and at least pretend. She was absolutely shocked. Well, there you have it, our top 15 Santa Claus sightings. What do you think? Is Santa more real to you now? Let us know in the comment section down below. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to MindRead. Also, click the notification bell to be notified as soon as we post a new video. See you next time on MindRead.